It's Christmas Day 2012. I'm Rim.
I'm not Christian.
And neither am I. And this is Geeknights. Tonight, on this lovely Xmas, we are talking about Hotline Miami.
The least Christmassy.
The most Christmassy game there is.
Let's do this. I was actually trying to think of if there are any Christmassy games.
Hotline Miami.
Like legitimately Christmassy games, and I could not think of any. The only things I could think of were games like Rise of the Triad, where if you play it on Christmas, then there's like Easter eggs because it looks at the date on your calendar.
Huh. There probably are some crappy Santa-ish games.
I'm sure, but can you think of a
Home Alone?
I guess.
Home Alone.
I mean, Die Hard was an NES game.
Yeah, Home Alone and Die Hard.
But I mean, can you think of legitimately Christmas themed, as in the theme is Christmas, not the theme is Home Alone, which is a Christmas movie, right? Games.
So it's got to be the direct theme.
That aren't just.
So it can't be a game
that
is
just
about
like throwaway shovelware, or like flash games for marketing purposes or bullshit like that.
Why doesn't someone just make, I'm sure they exist and they're all terrible, the tower defense equivalent, but more like the resource management game of Santa's got to deliver all the presents?
That could be pretty good.
Yeah, it could be pretty good.
You have to plot Santa's route. You have to manage all the elves to make enough presents. You might come up short. Then you get to figure out which kids to short.
So then you start federating Santas.
And you play years at a time. 1 year, year one, year two.
No, it's got to be like not Sim City.
Simpole.
No, it's got to be like Aerobiz, where you start in like the 1890s.
There's competing Santas. There's other Santas.
No, you're fighting against Krampus. I feel like most people didn't know about Krampus, at least not in the U.S., but just in the this year, for whatever reason, Krampus has come up. Like, there's been a bunch of College Humor videos about Krampus. Krampus has come up in a bunch of webcomics. I feel like...
You know what? It's not just you. This is the third time I've heard Krampus come up.
Yeah, so why did it come up suddenly?
It came up on the John Hodgman podcast as the first place I heard it.
Why?
Then I saw someone mention it in a comment on the internets.
I'll admit,
you just said it now. This is the third one.
The reason it's been on my mind is since...
3 more Krampuses than I heard last year.
Since Halloween, when everyone except Scott went to Chase's house to watch... possibly the third best Christmas movie ever made, Rare Exports.
Okay.
Which you should watch.
Haven't heard of it.
It is on the same level as Miracle on 34th Street, and
that's okay. It's an okay movie.
It's on that level of movie.
Of course, the black and white old one.
Yeah.
Not the...
What?
That has remakes,
Really?
Oh, yeah. Let me look them up.
At least we agree Die Hard is the greatest Christmas movie ever made.
And who does not agree with that?
And I think Tokyo Godfathers is up there.
Maybe number
2, 3, 4.
Top 5 easily.
That's right, it's up there.
There's a whole bunch of top 5s.
So today, I went skiing.
Okay, there is hold on, just to clarify before you go on your skiing. The one we like is the 1947 film. There is a 1973 and a 1994 remake.
Why? Well, I know why.
1973 was a TV movie remake, and the 1994 one was a movie theater remake.
All right, Scott. Which is better, Miracle on 34th Street or The Nightmare Before Christmas? As a Christmas movie.
Then I had to say Miracle on 34th Street only because, not to say that it's better than Nightmare Before Christmas, but because Nightmare Before Christmas is also a Halloween movie.
All right.
It is only half a Christmas movie.
Miracle on 34th Street or It's a Wonderful Life?
It's a Wonderful Life is way better.
Okay,
not even close.
We agree. It's a Wonderful Life or Die Hard.
It's Die Hard.
It's an affirmation, just making sure. What's unrelatedly, I think it was Pork Fry tweeted, talking about synchronicity.
You follow Pork Fry?
I follow Pork Fry. Okay. Recently, for whatever reason, Twitter was like, "Hey, you should follow Pork Fry," and I was like, "Oh, I kind of know that guy."
Does people listening know who the hell Pork Fry is?
I don't know. So I follow him now, and he randomly was like, "Our tradition is to watch Die Hard every Christmas."
Why wouldn't it be?
But we were just talking about Die Hard. And then after that, there were 2 tweets by 2 people who don't know each other. They're not even the same spheres of the world. Mm-hmm. They're just 2 people.
How could you tell?
Because they're 2 people I know independently.
Okay.
And they both tweeted within a few seconds of each other, and they had the word tamed in their tweets. One of them was talking about, I think, Satan, and the other one was talking about a role-playing game.
Okay.
I don't know. Die Hard, Krampus, taming. I feel like there's something going on here.
What does taming have to do with Krampus or Die Hard?
It was a coincidence.
What do you mean?
I mean, there's been all the
Krampus
Krampus
has nothing to do with
coincidences,
Die Hard, and neither one of those have anything to do with taming.
but they all came up on Twitter recently.
sure.
My Twitter.
Okay, great.
Anyways, I was skiing today. You know, we've talked about skiing a little bit before. I'm an avid skier. I'm not a professional skier. I don't do it as a job. I'm not ski patrol.
You're not a master either.
I'm not the best skier
You're
in the
not
world.
a master or a professional.
But I am a really good skier. Like I'm a pretty good skier at this point. And having skied at Hunter Mountain and on the East Coast a lot in the last few years in particular, what the fuck, dudes? Why do you show up to the mountain at like noon? It costs you the same. You ski like twice and then you sit on your ass at the top of the mountain for the rest of the day. You paid $70 for that lift ticket.
They don't. Well, number one, why do they get there at noon? They don't like to get up early. Number two, why do they
But
sit
it closes at 4. You already missed, 4.5 hours of skiing.
Why do they sit at the top of the mountain? I have no fucking clue.
I know.
That would be like if you went up the water slide stairs, you got to the top, and they only let people go on the water slide one at a time.
Now,
But
you know why they
imagine-
do that? 'Cause
Imagine if everyone could go on the water slide at once.
Dude, if I was
Wouldn't
a
you
kid,
just go as soon as you got to the top immediately?
if we were little kids and there wasn't that dude there with that minor authority over us, we would all die.
Yeah, right? So it's skiing, you just get off and you can just go, right? There's nothing stopping you from going immediately. So why don't they go immediately? And the only reason I can come up with is either A, they're crazy tired because they're weak or whatever, or B, they don't actually want to go.
So what I can see is that there's
They're
lot
not
of people,
excited to go.
I guess, and I realized the same thing when I was a kid. I've kind of put it all together now. When I was a little kid, me and my brother and my family were pretty hardcore about going to amusement parks. Like if we were there, our goal was to ride the most number of roller coaster runs possible in the course of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I paid like 70 whatever bucks to be there. I'm going to be there the second that park opens, and at 11:59 before they shut off the line, I'm the last motherfucker in line.
We were not that hardcore, but we did show up as soon as it fucking opened in the morning. We were there when the gates were allowed in. We went on as many things as we could in general.
Now, sometimes,
we didn't run,
No,
but
sometimes we'd only run for the first ride, but like you back it off a little bit, you take some lunch.
Like I remember going to Universal in the morning, right, where they sort of let people into the park slowly, and basically you can't go past this guy. So the guy is there when
I've been there with that guy.
the guy is standing there when they open the gates. You walk in, but you're not allowed past the guy. And the guy slowly walks through the park, and as he walks past a thing, that thing is now open. And then you can go on that thing. So, of course, as soon as he passes, like Back to the Future, which was the craziest popular thing at the time,
That was a good ride.
we just go right in. And that, but we weren't like running to go on every roller coaster.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying running hardcore, but when I was at the amusement park, I had a mission. I had a goal.
There were missions.
I was there for fucking roller coasters.
We did
and-
not every ride and everything we wanted to do, we did. We did not miss any things, and we were doing things almost the entire time we were there.
So when I was older and I started going to Cedar Point and other amusement parks on my own, with a car.
Same policy.
So yeah, so I had
And
that
even
policy.
more hardcore because there's no family weighing you down.
No, are you kidding? My family was possibly more hardcore than me.
Okay.
So we were that was our thing. It was our jam. But, I'd go with friends from like high school, and the first time I went with a bunch of high school friends, we get in and I go to be fucking hardcore. And one other guy with me is also ready to be fucking hardcore. And everyone else is super slow. And they're like, let's get breakfast before we ride a ride.
So you can vomit it up, pussy?
Man. So I look at him and I was like,
Fuck you guys.
this was my Braveheart moment. I was like, all right, listen up, everybody. Because we were like 15 of us there. You guys who aren't here for serious business roller coasters, you don't want to learn the fullness of it. You don't care enough. You're not hardcore. You go do your bullshit. But if you're men, stand with me. And like 5 or 6 of them came with me, and we hardcored it all day.
Of course.
We were literally the last people and I timed, because I've been going to Cedar Point my whole life. So I'd like timed it at the end. Like we got food, like chicken fingers. Like everyone had 2 baskets of chicken fingers.
It cost $20, but they only took 1 minute to eat.
Yep. And then, no, we got them, and then we got in line. We were the last people in line, in the longest line for the biggest roller coaster at the end of the night.
That's right.
So we were in that line for another 2 hours, eating our chicken wings and just having an awesome time, dance party. We were the last motherfuckers on that roller coaster other than like the staff.
He's letting everyone cut you. So you can.
And at the end of the night, the guy, everyone I was with kind of turned to me and they were like, Rim, you are the god of Cedar Point.
Okay.
I was very proud of that moment. It's the same thing. These people, they're not hardcore about skiing. Now, you don't have to be hardcore about everything you do, but it's like they take all the trouble to travel all this way to be at a ski resort.
Maybe they live next door and they're just like, whatever.
A lot of them are from New York. I could overhear their conversations.
The mountains in New York. Almost everyone there is from New York.
New York City. But it's that they're there to ski because they enjoy skiing, just like someone who's at an amusement park enjoys amusement parks, or just like someone who's playing Candyland likes Candyland. But they're scrubs, basically. They're not interested in ever getting beyond, like they've achieved minimal basic proficiency at a thing, enjoy the thing to a degree, but have literally zero interest in moving at any point beyond that initial proficiency. So they show up, they go to the top, they do the same blue square, simple course every time.
And this is why Call of Duty is the big game and not Quake.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on.
So, gaming day.
Yeah, I don't really have any news, but I do want to talk about NS2 because during my little vacation here, because I have a lot of days off between, pretty much every day off between Christmas and New Year's. I'm not going back to work until after MagFest, pretty much. Maybe one day. I've been playing a lot of NS2 when I'm not, the rest of the day I spend doing anti-shit talk, but during the times when I'm not anti-shit talking.
We're kind of sliding into two separate courses right now because I've been doubling down on the CounterStrike.
No, I'm doing NS2 big time. And what I started doing is I have a new policy, and the policy is games of NS2 get ruined a lot when no one gets in the comm chair right away. So my new policy is I get in the game. If no one gets in the comm chair of either team, whatever my team is, in 5 seconds, I get in. And
it's not a bad policy because, even if, before,
And sometimes they'd be like, anyone doing it? I guess I'm doing it.
Because if no one else will do it, no one has the right to complain if I fuck up.
As a result, I've done it a lot, and which is kind of annoying because I don't want to do it a lot, but my policy, I keep doing it.
Well, there's been a lot of nubs lately.
There are a lot of nubs because of the Steam sale. But I've learned a lot of things commanding. Number one, there's not too much micro like there is in StarCraft, so I can actually fucking do it. 2, because I know because I played NS for so long that I know what you should do, like in terms of strategy and build order and all that. I'm not bad at it. And 3, because I beat the StarCraft 2 single player campaign on normal, even though I still could not beat anyone in StarCraft 2 who knows how to play it. I got the skills of using those RTS keyboard shortcuts and such, so I can actually build things quickly. Now, here are some observations. Observation number 1. If your players ask for something, it is very likely that you are clicking on that thing at that exact moment, right, as they talk. I can't tell you how many times I wish I had $1 for every time someone said, hey, can I have spores? And I already had the thing open. I was clicking on spores at that second, right? Hey, can we get armor 2? And it's like I'm clicking on the arms lab as I hear this guy saying, can you get armor 2, right?
You must be psychic.
That happens it's like, well, I think it's just because the players know when the thing should be ready in terms of how much res you have. They can see how much res you have. They know you have an arms lab. They see they have armor 1, right? And it's like, yeah, I see the same thing they see. So if they were calming, they would be clicking on armor 2 at the same time, right? So
yeah.
So it's like they're backseat calming, but we have the same mind because we have the same data.
The same hive mind.
Right. Something else I've noticed, right, is, people always be complaining about balance this and balance that, right? This is OP, that's OP. Here's what I notice. The only thing, really, there are 2 things that determine who will win a game of NS2, as I see it right now. Number 1, is your comm doing the job, right?
The basic job, right? Like, if they build the right resource
right.
towers.
If the comm fucks up, it doesn't matter what the players do, you will lose, right? The comm can lose the game for you, but the comm cannot win the game. There is nothing the comm can do to just be like, boom, we're losing, I'm bringing us back. It's like, no, if you're losing, you're going to lose, right? If the comm is doing the job properly, he enables victory. He creates the possibility of winning, or guarantees losing, assuming the other team hasn't also fucked up big time, right?
I gotta admit, some of my favorite games of NS are where the 2 comms are both incompetent and the game is just turned into some really weird clusterfuck.
That doesn't happen ever.
I've run into games where
I haven't seen it
happens.
happen all week. But the comm can enable victory by comming mostly properly, right? If the comm does the job mostly right, the victory is possible. what makes the victory happen, what determines whether the win, assuming both comms do it properly, right? What determines who wins and loses is FPSing. That's pretty much all that matters. If the Marines go out and when they're building a res tower, if they kill all the skulks who come to bite it and then move on to the next tower and kill all the skulks who come to bite that one, guess what? Now the commander has 2 more towers and probably a second
We need a stat
share.
for this. It has to be something like, what's the ratio? Like, how many skulks can one of your Marines take out on his own?
Right. If,
like if it's 1 to 3, like if one Marine can take out 3 simultaneous skulks, that alien team's done.
Yeah, if a Marine goes out and he's building a res tower and he gets bitten, and then the second wave of Marines go and barely rescue that RT, well, guess what? You think, oh, it's just one RT, it delayed you by 1 spawn wave, whatever. No, it means the aliens now have their infestation in that tech point that's right behind that first RT, because most of the maps go, RT, hive tech point RT, RT hive tech point RT, right? So by failing at that first RT next to your base, which is where the skulks will be, because the skulks don't have to freaking build anything, right? They're running straight for that shit. You're losing that position after it by not pushing hard enough out there, and now you're set back. And all that had nothing to do with the commander. All he did was press S and build the RT for you, right? It's because you couldn't kill the skulks. You got bit.
I'll admit I've been in situations where, I've just failed, and you hear the commander be like, no, guys, stop dying. Oh, no.
Right. Now, here's the thing that I didn't, so much realize, and this is the final point, right, is being the commander of the team that loses, which I have done somewhat often. I've also been commander of quite a few teams that just dominate so hard that we're pretty much all over. We just take over the whole map almost immediately, which is almost also equally less fun. But being the commander of the losing team is like being angry Hitler. It's just like, send in the troops from they're dead. Well, guys, push east. God damn it.
Well, this is
it's
easy.
Like, what the fuck, guys? Stop going east. Go.
I've built the last 4 shotguns. Sir, the shotguns
all the guys
all
in
gone.
cavalry are dead. It's recycle. It's just like it's just being angry. There's nothing you can do. There's no buttons you can press in that command interface to suddenly make your team be able to fucking aim or bite or whatever they need to do.
I think at that point, all you can do is admonish your own players for their failure.
That's pretty much what you do. But yeah, the other thing that's really bad is if your players don't listen, I just quit the server. I've had like 2 games where the guys were just like assholes. And they they were just trolling on whatever server it was, and they just kept pushing the other way. And I was like, guys, we had 3 res to the left. We lost all of them because you guys kept going to the right, even though I said use the phase gate. The only one guy built that phase gate. He built all that stuff on the left side of the map, and then he died. He was one guy. He was awesome. And then we lost all that stuff on the left side of the map, and all you guys kept going right, even though I repeatedly said go left, and you said, fuck you, Commander, we want to go right, to where the alien hive is right there, and there's a pile of skulks biting you, and you're getting killed constantly. We could have taken the left side. They didn't want to, so I just quit.
I wonder what'll drive that kind of trolling behavior.
Yeah,
in
it's pretty rare. It only happened twice in multiple days, but
I never remember it happening in NS1. So I wonder.
It was rare.
No, what I'm saying, I wonder if there's a slightly different mechanism design going on.
Well, in the one game, I think it was one guy on the team was a bad egg, and he was enabling and encouraging.
He was egging him on.
Yeah, he was encouraging the bad behavior by the other players.
He evolved into an asshole.
He was like, fuck you, Commander, we're going right, yeah. All right.
So on the other side of that coin, I set up our Geeknights CounterStrike server. You guys haven't been using it too much.
I haven't been using it at all.
So get your shit together if you guys want me to keep paying for it, because I might just shut it down, because I have a clan server that I play on.
I predicted you would not get enough players.
I know, but it was so cheap. But basically, I've learned a lot. One, by playing playing a lot of games with really good clanny people in Counter-Strike Go, and I've become a much better Counter-Strike player as a result.
My Counter-Strike has probably gone downhill.
My NS has gone way down, so we're on equal sides of the same sinking boat at this point. But that stuff aside, running a server, I've realized now why it's such a pain in the ass and why so many people use these services and don't just run them themselves. You can just run it yourself. 90% of the actual configuration and functionality is undocumented.
Oh, yeah.
It is documented solely in bullshit, mostly not correct forum posts
And crappy
way
wikis.
out of date wikis.
Yep, way out of date wikis is right.
The other part
I
of
know that wiki.
is that, sure, you could figure it all out, but actually stuff changes a lot, especially now with CounterStrike Go. Like, they'll just change something in the master config, and then your server breaks, and there's no way to figure out how to fix it. And I've been wrestling with that a lot, and it's a giant pain in the ass, and I know why this is the case. It's pretty simple. There's some hardcore motherfuckers who are willing to do all the work to make their own Counter-Strike servers stay up.
And there's a bunch of official ones, right?
I don't know. I don't plan any official ones because
Okay.
I actually don't use any of the official matchmaking or anything anymore. I just go on the 2 clan servers and my own server because I know they're good. I know there's good people there.
What if they're full?
If they're full, I don't play.
Okay.
My server's never full.
That's true.
Sometimes it's
Why are you
full
paying for it?
because it's so cheap. But those people will keep those servers going and spend a ridiculous amount of time in their lives making them work and
Well, that's
making them
their
work
thing.
well.
They got a clan. That's serious
Exactly.
business for them.
And Valve wants the latitude to change things whenever they want. If they actually maintain documentation as to how the server
They have
really
to maintain
works,
the documentation.
yes, and I know how this kind of product works because I manage several similar
No one likes
products.
updating documentation.
No, I'm pretty sure there isn't documentation. The documentation is the code and probably some text files related to the code.
Maybe.
And the
The comments in the config file.
and the config files are pretty much self-documenting if you understand what's going on the undocumented backend.
If you understand Quake 1 language, console
Now-
commands.
It'll slowly crystallize, I'm pretty sure, because they're, right now, like, for example, here's something. Say they add a new map. Well, there's this complicated
It's
bullshit.
not going to go into your map rotation automatically, right?
Oh,
Because that's a text file.
No, it'll make your server not work anymore.
Why wouldn't it? It's just you. All you did was add if there's a new map and you run the Steam updater, all it should do is put a new BSP file.
No.
in the map folder.
So there's a complicated structure now where there's master config files that you should never edit, but you can edit them. You should. Now the way you make changes is you make like that same file like _server, and you just override things in that file.
I know that pattern.
Yeah, so like
That's a good
variables and
pattern.
stuff. That is a good pattern, but they have this other, within the main config, they have this meta structure for map groups that is way, way, way overcomplicated.
It's not just BSP files.
No. So all these different variables have to be set for different maps, and you set a map group. A map group consists of a type and then a number of maps within that type. But a map group can also consist of other map groups.
Oh, this is how it separates, say, demolition from CS from
Yes,
FY.
or classic from all maps, or offline with bots from these maps don't support bots. And it's a tree that seems to loop back upon itself a couple of times.
It sounds pretty much just like a diagram.
And it changes pretty often.
Yeah.
And the problem with it is that if there is any structural problem at all, like something
The whole
does,
server won't work.
yeah, the whole server just won't work in really difficult to diagnose ways. Like the
There's
way
no log file. There's no standard error output from the server.
I don't really have easy access to that because the kind of hosting I use.
Because the hosting thing.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you're paying them for, to take care of that bullshit for you?
Yeah, so they do eventually fix that stuff, but they're really slow at it.
Oh, they don't do it immediately as soon as the things update?
So pretty much anytime the CounterStrike server's down, it's probably because there's an update that hasn't been pushed to my server yet. You got to wait like 3 or 4 days.
That 3-4 days downtime.
Yeah.
Do you have to pay for those 3-4 days?
Yeah.
I would fucking complain. I'd be like, hey,
Yeah.
you guys didn't. I pay for this.
Yeah, you know what?
You didn't get my server. My server was down for 3-4 days. Fuck you.
No, because I could fix it myself by getting the files manually and pushing them via FTP. And
But what am I paying for? If I know how to do that, then I don't need to pay for your hosting. I'll just use someone else. I'll just use regular, Linux virtual hosting.
No, because the Linux virtual hosting is more of a pain in the ass.
Even more of a pain.
Because in the very least, these guys, if I just use their default shit, it'll work most of the time.
I've gotten CounterStrike servers just running most of the time.
Yeah.
On, just a Linux machine.
Yeah, try getting CounterStrike Go to continue to run with updates.
You have to just restart it whenever there's updates.
Nope. That you have to restart it and pull down the new master config files
See,
and
the thing is,
probably change some bullshit.
When I run servers, though, the thing I always keep default everything. I don't change anything at all. I don't put any weird mods or anything like that.
Yeah, but you know what? Default.
So what I would just do is if that was really a problem, if restarting the server didn't fix it with his updates, I would just delete the whole server and reinstall it with like a little script every single time so that it would be completely fresh.
Yeah, but then you like the whole reason we have our server and like the good clan servers and everything is they'll do basic stuff like remove Dust 2 from the rotation because fuck that map.
I love it.
I'm sick of it.
But I mean,
Or more importantly, for example, leave friendly fire on. But like what I did
it's
is
one line in a text file.
I cut the number of lines down of numbered lines. I cut the number of rounds in a match in half, so you have a faster rotation. And I changed all these sort of timer things like buy time and all these things, and set the map
What's
rotation.
wrong with the
such,
default ones?
Then a competitive match takes a couple hours. Sometimes
What?
it can take up to 90 minutes.
I've had some NSs go 90 minutes, but most of them take 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, but CounterStrike, you start to lose players, and for our players and our demographic, I'd rather have 15 rounds and then switch to a new map with a winner.
Yeah.
One team won. It encourages much more goal-based play. But so I want some aspects of casual and some aspects of competitive, and then there's the bot configs, so I basically have to merge the casual and competitive together into my own thing. Anyway, the reason it's a pain in the ass is because it's undocumented. It'll probably never be documented because there's no reason to document it. It'll stop people like me from almost complaining.
Let's move on.
So, things of the day. I had a thing of the day. I know none of you assholes had seen it because it was relatively obscure.
I got two things of the day, so I can cover for you. They're both.
This thing.
I would normally save one, but they're both Christmas. So.
Oh, okay. Mine is not Christmas at all. So, the Hobbit movie came out, and there's the scene where they're getting...
Hobbitses.
Where the elf is like, oh, this is Glamdring, the foe hammer, and this is Orcris, the goblin cleaver, and all that stuff.
I never... See, that was one thing I forgot to mention, right? Orcris is a really fucking LV sword, which makes sense, because it's an LV sword.
Yeah.
But it's like, I never thought of it as an LV sword. So seeing it, and seeing it as the style of LV sword from Lord of the Rings, it was like... Oh, that was an interesting choice to make it that style of sword when, for example, Narsil is, the other kind, even though it was also made by elves.
Yep, well, Glamdring, the foe hammer. So I found this video just randomly, and it only had like 11 or 12 views.
Okay.
And basically, it was that scene from The Hobbit where he's describing the names of the things. And he's like, and you know how he kind of unsheathes Glamdring and then sheathes it again?
Yep.
So that mashup style where someone will just take a thing and cut to other people reacting, like Porkin screaming forever before he dies.
Okay.
So they did that with that scene. So it was like, and this is Glamdring, the foe hammer, foe hammer, foe hammer, foe hammer.
Yeah, okay.
And it cut around. It was really well done in terms of the cuts and everything. So this goes on for like 2 minutes. And I'm giggling a little bit. Emily's like, this isn't that funny. And she's not laughing. Then at the very end, he stops. He's like, foe hammer. And Orcris, the foe hammer. And then it ends on that. And Emily even laughed there.
Orcris is not the foe hammer.
It was so well done.
All right, so here's two things.
It's gone. It got takedowned, and it's gone. I can't find it. So instead, I linked to you the original Glamdring the foe hammer.
Sure. Okay, so here we go. This one's really quick. The Chipmunks Christmas song, where they're like, he wants a hula hoop.
I think we already did this as a thing of the day years ago.
Did we?
Yeah, you can do it anyway.
This was posted on, uploaded in 2008. But anyway, someone slowed it.
This was definitely a thing of the day.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's a callback thing of the day then.
Yeah.
Because it came up again and I forgot it. They freaking slowed it down, so all the other parts sound like they're slowed down, but all the sped up, but the chipmunk parts sound like normal, like a barbershop guys singing chipmunk song.
Yeah, I've heard this.
Also, totally look at this fake album cover. Look at Simon. He's so...
Oh my God, it's Simon.
He's
the
just...
foe hammer.
All right, so anyway, here's my real thing of the day. That's not a redo.
All right.
This is Gary Gygax. You know who Gary Gygax is.
You'd better.
Creator of D&D. He would get Christmas cards from friends. Everyone who sent him a Christmas card got this note in reply. And this note is interesting for several reasons. Reason number one, Because, D&D was sort of hated as being satanic for a long time, but Gary Gygax was way Christian, right? And number 2, he was also way rules lawyer. Let me read to you. I'm going to read the whole thing.
Oh, I'm unfamiliar with this thing.
Yeah, Gary Gygax would send this note to anyone who sent him a Christmas card. I'm going to read the whole thing, even though it takes a little while.
All right.
It's worth it. Gary Gygax thanks all his friends who sent Christmas cards. Being a Christian, he does not celebrate this holiday because, 1, the Bible does not command Christians to keep a festival on the birthday of Jesus Christ.
Always one of those guys.
Galatians 4, 9 through 11, and what's COL?
I don't know.
Whatever col is, 2, 16, and 17. 2, the Bible does command that the followers of Jesus refrain from having anything to do with pagan religious celebrations. 1 Corinthians 10:14, Acts 15:20, 2 Corinthians 6:14. 3, Jesus was not born in December, but sometime in the autumn. Check your religious or secular encyclopedia, in parentheses. 4, the, quote, holy day, Christmas, was not celebrated by early Christians, parentheses, check sources indicated in 3 above. 5, numerous pagan rites have historically been held at this time of the winter solstice, the best known being the pre-Christian Saturnalia of the Romans, and Christmas is simply an agglomeration of various pagan religious observances, sprinkled with a pinch of Christianity to disguise its true flavor, and certainly does not honor either God nor his Son. For detailed information on any particular aspect of the above, contact Gary at 330 Center Street, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, 53147. So there you go. Rules lawyering and Christianity from the creator of D&D.
Not bad.
Take that. And don't send me Christmas cards either, but not for those reasons. Because I hate cardboard. It's like wasted cardboard. Come on, you got something better than that. Maybe send a digital one. I'll be less upset.
So, in the meta moment, there might not be Geeknights for a few weeks after this.
Oh boy, why would that be?
Well, we've got our annual New Year's celebration extravaganza that we run at my apartment every year.
Awesome.
Then we were going immediately to MagFest.
Double awesome.
And then I might be flying directly from MagFest to Istanbul.
Would be more awesome if I was going.
You could just go. Take time off.
I don't have money. I'm already taking time off for MagFest.
Take more time off.
Don't have more time off because you go to Australia.
It's not that expensive. All right, we got to... Right, we're going to PAX Australia.
Yeah, let's not do the far future meta moments. Let's concentrate on the MagFest because
We're gonna be at
this is
MagFest.
the last pre-MagFest episode.
All our shit is on Friday, dog. The schedule is up. MagFest is happening. Friday morning, we are doing the ethics of video games, video game genres, and our own lecture, Beyond Candyland, which we've rewritten.
Then we're going to play a fuck ton of games.
Oh my God,
of
I'm
the
playing
arcade
so many games.
and table varieties.
I'm so excited about MagFest. It is my second favorite convention that is not PAX.
What's better than MagFest that's not a PAX?
I had to leave wiggle room in there just in case.
Okay. It is the convention where I have the most fun times that is not a PAX.
It's also a different vibe from PAX, much more chill in terms of...
24/7, 4 days gaming. Oh!
In that there is awesome content, but I pretty much just want to dick around and play games with my friends and random strangers. And at PAX... the other bullshit that's going on is so great that anything I'm doing at PAX, I feel the pang.
You got to spend like an hour or two at a PAX going to the expo hall. There's
I
no
feel
expo
the
hall at
pang
MagFest.
of missing some other PAX thing at any PAX thing I'm doing. But at MagFest, I don't feel like I'm missing anything because it's so long. Granted, PAX Prime's going to be 4 days, so...
Yep.
Yeah. And
I think there is actually going to be a CounterStrike tournament at MagFest.
You better bone up.
No.
I'm not going to play in the CounterStrike tournament.
Me either.
But I am going to play CounterStrike because playing CounterStrike...
Well, I think you need to bring your own PC for that, don't you?
Maybe. I don't remember if they had open PCs or not.
I'm just saying.
I played a bunch of CounterStrike at PAX, though.
That was some awesome CounterStrike at PAX.
Something about LAN parties.
Why at PAX, was I able to buy the this freaking awesome machine gun, the Nova, and just hose everyone down on Italy, just like literally hosing them down in the marketplace. But when I go online, if I bring the machine gun and bring it to the marketplace, I just get one headshotted. And that's what makes me think this cheating, but I can't tell.
I think it's just that we were drawing drawing from a smaller. I mean, there aren't
Big fish, small pond.
Yeah, the CounterStrike players in the world are not that many compared to
Well,
say other things
medium
in the
fish
world.
in the guppy pond at PAX, but medium fish in the
We were
shark
the
pond
big fish
on the internet.
in the transient pond from like 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Friday.
Whereas if I go on the internet, I'm the medium fish in the shark pond.
Basically.
So, yeah. Alright.
So yeah, MagFest, be there. Kineticon, panel submissions are open. We'll be scheduling things starting at the end of January, so submit soon.
Yeah.
The sooner you submit, the more likely I'll read your submission.
Book club is.
The Great Gatsby.
And you should visit us on the internets because you're not going to get any content from us in the podcast between now
I might edit
and
together some of the video shows.
January sometime.
Yeah, we've recorded ahead. We might record a little bit more video off and on, but we're not going to speed up the video production unless you guys get more views on those YouTube videos.
Yeah, so there's not going to be any new podcasts, but there may be videos, newsletters, and other sorts of things that you might enjoy, but you're not going to notice those things unless you follow us and go to our website and go to YouTube channels and go those places.
And that said, Hotline Miami.
All right, so
I've enjoyed the shit out of this game.
So this game, people were talking it up, right? And it was big Steam sale. I never heard of it. It just sort of came out of nowhere on the Steam sale for me. Not the new Steam sale, but the previous Steam sale.
I'd heard buzz about it, but not from like the usual sources of buzz, but like people I knew would tweet like something Hotline Miami.
I saw some tweets, and then I also saw some forum posts. So I picked it up for way cheap, and but it was then after I did that, I found out it was mad crash. No, I think I found out it was mad crashy and buggy before I got it. And then I was like, well, I'm going to bite the bullet for everyone else. So I got it. And of course, it was mad crashy and didn't work. So I told everyone, fuck this shit. Doesn't work. Fuck. And then they got their shit together. And a week later, they patched it a whole bunch. And I noticed it kept getting updated on Steam. So then I played it. And I played it on my HTPC because it felt like an HTPC Robotron kind of game. And now I'm not so sure if I should play with the gamepad or the mouse and keyboard. It's like either way I go.
Mouse and keyboard, I tried with both. I think the game is better with mouse and keyboard because
it's not perfect either way.
No, well, the thing is, with mouse and keyboard, it feels like the game was designed with that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because the fact that there's a crosshair gives you a ridiculous degree of precision when it comes to using projectile weapons.
True.
And planning things out. And I feel like I was much better at the game with the mouse and keyboard, despite the somewhat janky implementation of WASD. And when I tried with the gamepad, I just couldn't fucking kill anybody.
Well, I was slightly better, but for example, with the mouse and keyboard, there are some things I can do better. For example, I'm in a room and there's a guy coming at me. I need to quickly aim at different guys. Much easier with the mouse, right? But the gamepad actually allows you to lock onto a guy. Like Zelda, like lock on, Metroid lock on. So,
I don't like lock-ons though.
Well, no, but what this lets you do is, for example, there's a room and there's one guy in it, right? And he's just sitting on the couch. I lock onto him before I go in the room. Then I just open a door and like throw a baseball bat at him.
But see, I feel
immediately.
like that's like aimbot.
Right, it is. So I can't. It's part of the game though. So you can't possibly miss while doing that.
But
so it
you
makes it so certain situations you can execute more efficiently. So if there was some way to switch between the two controllers,
but you say it's part of the game. It is, but it is in the sense that lock on is like the go-to number one first gimpy thing you do if you take a game that was designed for mouse and keyboard and port it to a gamepad.
Yep. But this is, you actually have to press a button to lock on. It's not just like an auto aim.
Oh yeah, most games have the button press for auto lock on.
Right.
But at the same time, I feel like the game flows better when you don't have that, because then it's much more frantic.
It's frantic no matter what. All right, so so what the game is, there's a weird sort of theme to the game. I'm not going to talk about that right now.
I like the theme. I'll say that.
But it basically what it is you're this dude and you go into a level and you have to kill everybody without dying. And you die in one hit pretty much. If anything
but
touches
it has
you,
the Super
you die.
Meat Boy thing of if you die, just try again. Try again.
You can just try again infinity times. And it's a Robotron game. Direct top-down view. And you walk around with one, and then you aim with the other in any of the directions. And you can pick up any weapon that anyone drops. Normally you have fists. And if you hit a guy with fists, he doesn't die. You have to actually get on and sort of bash his head in, right? And then you take people's weapons and you can use the weapons. If you hit someone with a weapon, they die. But if you shoot a gun right? That's obviously the most efficient way to kill a lot of guys, but it makes noise, which attracts more guys to come out of the woodwork. Normally, it's like Hero Quest, where they won't go through doors and they'll just sort of follow patterns. So you can, each level is sort of like a puzzle you have to solve. Which guy do I kill first? Which room do I go in? I need to kill a guy first to get a weapon. Then I can kill these guys quietly, but then there's so many guys in that room, I'm going to have to use an assault rifle, which will wake up these guys. And usually you plan out each level through trial and error and walking around to eventually figure out the way to kill all the guys without getting killed. And then you need to execute it because it is fast. It is really fast.
Now, what's very important here is they're a very minimalist top-down 2D game, but the aesthetic and the music drive...
The music is really good.
The music is so pumping and so rhythmic, and and the style and the aesthetic, it feels like it's almost one of those, it's a deconstruction of an ultra-violent, late 90s sort of film noir throwback action movie.
Yeah, it's pretty psychedelic in its styling. It's like one of those weird, trippy crime movies where, what was that one where we didn't watch the beginning part of it?
Oh, I don't remember.
On the DVD, we skipped the part.
Yeah.
With Keanu Reeves
what
sitting on the
was
bench.
that movie called?
It's sort of like that a little bit, but maybe a little more neon. Little more criminal.
The music pumping, the way it basically drives you to get this sort of flow in the game where it's kick the door, throw the bat at the dude while you're waiting to punch the dog that you know is going to come around the corner.
You can't punch dogs.
Oh, yeah, you can't. I think you can if you take the punching mask.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. I only ever wore Don Juan, the horse mask.
The horse mask, I think, is my favorite mask
because
also.
the horse mask basically meant a lot of times what I would do in a map if I was having trouble is I'd go get a gun, I'd back up near a door, I'd fire that gun once, and I'd stand just so on the door, and the door just became a murder machine, and I just wait.
Yeah, because basically, if there's a door, you basically touch the door and it opens. And if there's a guy on the other side of the door, he gets knocked down. He doesn't die, he just gets knocked down.
And if he has a weapon, he drops it.
He has a weapon, he drops it. So that gives you a chance to jump on him and bash his head in quietly, or kill other people in the room while he's lying down, and then kill him. So if a room has two guys and one of the guys is next to the door, that's a really good situation. You knock the guy down with the door, you kill the guy who's still standing really quickly before he kills you, then you kill the guy on the ground. Really simple. If there's three guys in a room, that's when you start to have troubles. But if you get the horse mask, every time you start a level, you can choose a mask, right? Which gives you one special power, and as you get farther in the game, you get more masks to choose from. The horse mask means if you hit a guy with a door, he dies. So what you do is if you shoot a door with a gun, the door swings back and forth because it just got shot with a powerful gun. If that door hits someone, they die. So you just get guys to go through a door, trick them into it, and keep shooting the door with your gun, and it flaps back and forth.
I wouldn't shoot the door with a gun. I'd stand next to the door going ba-bam, 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 just bumping into it.
Oh, like that?
Because eventually...
I shoot the door with the gun, because then it goes like a little, and just, it's literally like a wood chipper for any guys that run into it while the gun is firing.
Now, the game gets increasingly... It really does a good job of teaching the player the skills necessary to tackle increasingly complex and dangerous maps. And they're all different. Some of them are super stealthy. You go room by room, kill everybody in the room, go to the next room, kill everybody. Some of them, you walk in, there's a guy immediately at the door, trying to kill you.
Yeah, I hate that when there's some of the levels where it's start, and it's the door, you just open the door and a guy runs at you immediately. It's fuck you.
One of those maps, one time.
It reminds you of those times.
It
reminds you of those times when you save state with the bullet coming at you. So you're load dodge.
Though there's one of those maps where what I did, because I couldn't get past it, is I opened the door to the outside, and the guy sees me, and then I ran back before it locked me in.
Yep.
And I ran off into the neon BS outside.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy came, and I killed him, took his gun, fired a shot, and then everyone in the building starts running outside, and I shot them all one by one.
Nice. Nice.
I pretty much only use the horse mask or the unicorn.
Yeah,
I use the unicorn to
okay.
take out. I use the unicorn to take out the cops.
The the giraffe isn't bad unless you see really far, so you can plan out better. So what you can do is you can do a level with the giraffe to sort of scope it out, then quit, load, continue, go back into the level with the horse.
Except a lot of times I'd scope it out by not going in and walking around the whole building once first.
Maybe. But sometimes, I'm talking about the second part of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Third, we go up the elevator.
I just fucking
go up
went for it.
stairs.
The game teaches you so well that by the end of the game, I was just like a murder machine. I would walk through a level just killing everybody with almost no trouble.
Yeah, it's only when sometimes they give you a tricky part. It's pretty much like most of a level is easy.
Well, when I die, it'd always be because like it's like Mega Man. If I die, it's because I fucked up.
Right, but it's like every level will have one or two tricky parts. So it's pretty much like you're waiting patiently at the tricky part, and as soon as you get past that, hose down a bunch of guys real easily, go around murdering, and then tricky part, get it just right. Oh, I fucked it up. Start again.
When a new element gets introduced. Like at one point, there's the like the heavyset black dude.
I hate that guy so much.
Oh my god, that guy scares the crap. Because one time,
you
way later in the game,
shoot him
right?
with a gun.
Yep.
You can't hit him with anything else.
So way later in the game, right? There was one of the big maps, and there's two of those dudes. And I killed one of them, and I thought I killed the other one, but I guess I didn't.
There's the one level where you go in, and there's immediately a guy with the 2-shot gun. I hate the 2-shot gun.
I love that gun.
It's only fires 2 shots, and it's easy to just fire them both by
Yeah.
So you have to take the 2-shot gun from him, and then 2 of the big guys come in immediately. You have to shoot 1, 2, boom, boom.
So
that's the only way to do it.
I beat this whole gigantic map very methodically. I'd taken everyone out kind of stealthily. There was one room left with like 2 dudes in it, so I went and got a machine gun. I was like, I'm just gonna kick in the door and just shoot them both because there's no one left to respond to the gun. So I kick in the door, I go ba-bam, and I kill them both. And the stage clear doesn't appear, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, thought I killed everyone. Huh. So I'm like thinking, like, is there anywhere? And I'm like, is there a secret? Maybe there's like, I didn't know. I'd never been this level before. And out of nowhere, one of those black dudes just comes from nowhere and fucking kills me.
Yeah.
He must have been in the start of the map and I just missed him. And he heard the gunshot and just came running all the way. It took him like 45 seconds to get to me. So he comes out of nowhere. I'm like, and he got me. Hate that guy. I don't mind the detective nearly as much. The guy with the taser.
No, that guy's not so bad.
Except sometimes you'll shoot him, he'll like lunge forward and get you anyway. You gotta like shoot him and then back off.
Yeah.
So how far did you get? Because I've not beaten the game yet, but I'm at the...
I got to the boss with the 2 panthers, and I have not... I know how to beat him, I just haven't, and I've been playing NS instead, so...
No, I beat him. He was actually the easiest...
The thing is, at first, the panthers were so easy. You just have to... It gives you an arrow that says, hey, pick up this trophy, and it's like, oh, duh, right? And then...
I would just like hide behind the big statue.
It's like I couldn't figure out what to do with the ninja girl, and then eventually I tried throwing, and of course that worked.
Yep.
And then I had to beat the guy himself, so I went online, and I saw that if you stand right next to him, there's a weird... It's not really a glitch, it's more just like poor programming, in that if someone has a gun, the bullets start at the end of the gun. If you stand right next to a guy, the barrel of his gun is actually starting behind you, so if you're right next to a guy who's shooting... He can't hit you. The bullets are basically starting behind your back. So I just grab a knife, get right up close to the guy, cut him. Then I get a second knife, but then a third knife, I fucked it up. So, whatever. But yeah, the thing is, there is stuff about this game that bothers me. It's one of those situations.
Only one thing bothers me.
A few things bother me.
The game is crashy and glitchy as all fuck.
Actually, those problems went away from me after some updates.
So yeah, after the updates, the crashing stopped, but on 2 maps, I would very often be knocked by an enemy out of the map with no way back in and no way to die.
Oh, I haven't had that happen.
That happened to me like 5 times.
Okay. What bothers me is, number one, the controls, we already discussed this a little bit.
I like them.
On paper, they're right, but they're not, really, that accurate as they need to be for this kind of thing. It's so fast.
They are accurate. The problem is you have to be precise with the thing that isn't entirely obvious to you.
Why do I have to be precise with this? Not obvious to me.
Like the hit boxes on the guys are not obvious.
See, the thing
like you'll punch a guy and it'll miss him because you didn't actually hit his hitbox.
Oh, that does happen, yes. But the thing that bothers me is that if using the mouse and keyboard, right, the mouse isn't relative. It's sort of absolute. So, and the guy isn't always locked in the middle of the screen exactly. So,
which I like because you have the cursor on the screen.
No, because then what happens is, I'll have the mouse to the left of the guy aiming left, and then I'll walk left. Suddenly, the gun will flip to the right because I walked past the cursor. It's like, no, I didn't move the mouse. See, I should still be aiming left.
No, see, I liked that because it's not aiming. I didn't think of it as aiming.
I think of it as aiming.
I thought of it as, I had the crosshair, right? I was constantly hitting shift and doing the far look, like the entire game.
I was doing that also.
And I always thought of the mouse as being absolute. That actually seemed very intuitive to me.
Nah, that's not the way a Robotron would be.
I did because it's not Robotron.
It is Robotron.
No, it's not.
It is.
It shouldn't be.
It's Robotron.
It's not Robotron.
It is
it's
Robotron.
absolute because I would absolutely click on a dude went like
it's
click
fucking
right
Robotron.
on a dude when
No,
I was shooting at him.
It's Robotron. Anyway,
I think it's better not being Robotron.
I think Robotron perfected it. That's why everyone calls it Robotron.
Yeah, I'm saying this
and that's
game.
no, this is not better than that.
For this game,
Smash
I think
T-
it
they
is.
Should, they should use the Smash TV controls and just had it be done. Anyway, the other thing that bothers me is that, it's all about doing the level over and over again like Super Meat Boy until getting it just right. But unlike Super Meat Boy, the level is not 100% identical
I
every
liked
time
that
you
too.
I do not like that. If you want me to redo something over and over again until I get it just right, you need to have it be exactly pixely identical
Now, that
to
would
the
be the
previous
case.
time that I did it, just like Super Meat Boy is.
No, that would be the case if you're going for the ranking system, which I ignored.
I don't care.
Like
I
ABC?
I ignored that completely.
Yeah, I ignored it
I'm
too.
just saying is
But
I
like the
came up
fact-
with this a way to beat the level, and it works. 5 out of 6 times because the 6th time the level doesn't render and start the exact same way.
Because Scott, the
That's
game
bullshit.
The game is not a puzzle game like that. It is much more an action game in that depending on where you stand and the tiny subtleties of like where you shoot the gun, different guys might hear it. Their path might be altered slightly. Once a guy hears you once, his path changes. He might walk around a different room instead.
I'm talking about just the starting setup will not be the same. For example, there'll be a level with those big guys and you have to shoot one, and sometimes you'll start right next to a guy with a gun you can take. And sometimes you won't. And it's like, well, if you start with the neck and the guy with the gun isn't there to take and the big guys are going to come, you pretty much can't beat them. So just die and start again because the level started shittily.
See, now
that's why you need to have the level be exactly the same every time.
Because that one in particular, I played that level a ton of times. It was a different gun every time, but that first guy always, without exception, dropped a gun.
I've had it. Start up baseball bat. What are you going to do now?
That never happened to me in that
to
map.
me.
Now, I think I know why it was done this way, and I kind of like it.
Lazy programming?
No.
Yeah.
No, I think
Same
it was
lazy program that causes these fucking crashes.
Why would it be lazy to be randomized as opposed to just hard-coded?
I don't know.
I think it's much more simple. I think the rationale is, because this is the rationale I would use for something like this, you could randomize the certain characters' weapons that you could get or weapon placements as a sort of mechanism for if a player can't beat a level, they might get a slightly different loadout after a few deaths that might, for that player, make it easier for them.
That is true.
Because I'm really good. If I found a knife,
I
used the knife for the entire rest of the map. The knife was the best weapon in the game.
The knife is really good, yeah.
But the problem is, the lazy part would be, if you're going to do that, you need to identify which guns can be random and which ones, based on the level, have to be the same or else the level doesn't work anymore.
You might get, that's the thing is, I see where you're coming from on that, right? It's like, I'm having a hard time, if the level is locked in and someone is having a hard time beating it, it would be a Super Meat Boy, exactly, where it's like, well, I can't really beat it and I'm getting the same shit every time and I don't know what to do. So, but if it mixes it up, it's like, well, I couldn't beat it the way it is that way, but I can beat it this way because I start off with the assault rifle instead of the baseball bat. But why not just have the assault rifle one be the one it always is? Then you won't have that problem. There's going to be some configuration that's going to be the beatable one for most people, even if someone else might have
I guess I
preferred.
don't think it has trappings of a puzzle game, but to me, it's really just an action game. Like, I beat a lot of levels.
Super Meat Boy is an action game, but it's also exactly the same.
Yeah, it's a very different kind of game.
I think it's actually mostly the same game as Super Meat Boy with these imperfections I've complained about.
No, it would have to be.
It's Robotron instead of platform.
It would have to be completely rewritten to be that, because this game, due to its glitchiness and all the kinds of just the way it was done, is very soft and fuzzy in the end. You have to rewrite it to make it purely deterministic, like you want.
Well, I think the other thing is right,
which was fine because I mean, you can beat most of the levels, if you're good enough, just by grab a gun and just run around fucking shooting everybody.
Maybe.
Ammo's
an issue.
No, because you keep picking up other guns. If you run out of guns, it doesn't matter.
That's something else that pisses me off, right? You're standing near a bunch of guns. The only button you have is pick up weapon. And you might pick up the gun you didn't want. So sometimes, if it's quiet, I can sit there picking up all the guns to find the one that still has ammo in it.
Go for it. All guns are equal to me.
No, what I'm saying is sometimes I'll sit there picking up guns until I find one that still has ammo in it.
Nah.
But if I'm standing there and there's like 2 empty shotguns and an assault rifle next to me, and the only button I have is switch weapon.
So you got to be smart about that shit. Whenever I finished a weapon, I would throw that gun off in the corner away from everything else.
Okay, and then I kill a guy who's in that corner. Then I go to pick up his gun, but the bullshit gun, empty gun, is there.
See, I never threw guns at people because I never needed to.
This situations like this,
I know,
right?
I'm saying they didn't bother me.
controls, the controls don't bother with that, and you can't. I was occasionally fucked by that, and when it happened, I got pissed off because it wasn't anything I did wrong. It's this bullshit game.
See, I actually
didn't give me some means to indicate that I wanted to pick up the gun that had ammo and not the empty one.
I kind of enjoyed that I didn't have those means.
I don't enjoy getting fucked. Do you like getting fucked, Rim? Because you're fucking.
Because in this game, I kind of.
You're not getting me the iPad?
Like, I could go through the entire game super methodically and puzzly, but instead, the game was basically pushing you at all points to just fucking go for it. Blah. And I found that whenever I just went blah, I just picked up whatever gun and just started shooting, game was a lot more fun.
Anyway.
So yeah, you didn't get to the plot at all.
Well, I mean, there is some plot so far.
Yeah,
right?
well, you're a psycho killer.
Right, and you don't know why. But
And there's that janitor.
and there's
who's
a weird
looking at you.
janitor looking at you, and there's some Russian mafia involved, and I also hose down a whole police station, which is badass.
I liked how when you get to the top floor of the police station,
And there's something weird
there's
going
that
on at the bodega.
There's that detective. Well, yeah, because suddenly the guy who's been with you the whole time is dead, and there's this asshole there now.
Yeah.
So there's I like the detective who is talking to all the cops before you basically bust in Terminator 1 style and kill them all. And he's just like,
That's totally Terminator 1.
he's like, come on, guys, just follow procedure and we'll get through this. We'll take out this crazy nut job. It's like, no, none of you are going home to your kids tonight.
Well, yeah, you are actually 99 out of 100 times. But on the 100th time, none of you are going home to your kids.
Yeah, but even the times when they took me out, most of them were not going home to their kids. I feel like every one of those cops was one day away from retirement.
That's why they were in the police station where it was safe, behind all those security doors.
What's that XKCD? Man, it's a shame, too. We died one day before we were going to lock him in that room that we lock every cop in the day before retirement.
That's right. But yeah, so this is a game, and the reason it's more
So, Scott, I'm
infuriating.
going to reveal something. If you beat that boss, you get an ending.
Okay.
Pretty interesting ending.
And then there must be more game because there's so many not unlocked masks.
So remember way back when you ran into someone else who had already killed a bunch of people?
Wasn't he a boss and I killed him?
Yeah. So then you play the game again as that guy where that scene goes differently and you kill him. So you're him and you killed the you from the previous playthrough and it's a different timeline.
Oh, okay.
Where what if that dude killed the psycho killer and went off doing his own thing?
So it's not the same
So when you play as that guy, the biker dude, you have like this meat cleaver that you can't drop and you have 3 knives you can throw and you can't pick up weapons. And there's no masks and the game's totally different.
But how do I get the other half of those masks?
I don't know. I ignored all that. I got the last mask I unlocked. I forget which one's the last one. I got a bunch of masks.
I got 1 mask every level, so I don't know how to get the rest of them.
I got 2 masks in a couple levels.
Oh, really?
I found a mask on the ground and picked it up.
Fuck. I fucked that
I got the
up.
grasshopper guy.
What does he do?
I don't remember because I only ever used the horse head or the unicorn.
That's right. Oh, man. Yeah, but yeah, this is one of those things where the game is so good, right? But there are these things that, I guess they don't bother Rim, but they infuriate me.
Well, the thing is, the game is rough
and the reason they're
unpolished.
Right.
But
and that's the reason that it's infuriating. Because if a game just sucks all around, the sucky things don't bother you because you just don't fucking play it. It's infuriating when there are flaws in an otherwise great thing because it's sort of like a stain on a beautiful paint, right? It's like,
see, but to me, I guess this is the point where I'll take form and function and form as function. And, the idea that this game was unpolished and rough and had a lot of janky.
And how that goes along with the plot and aesthetic of it.
That not just
I
plot
do
aesthetic.
agree, and I give that is to the game's benefit.
It also fits with the aesthetic. Like, the aesthetic of the game just really feel like those weird black sort of glitchy things flying around whenever the mask guys are talking to you. And the game's just weird. And I liked it because it was so weird and janky.
Yeah, so, it's cheap on the Steam sale right now, right?
You know what? We might have complained about it a little bit.
It's $5.
You should play this game. This game is fantastic.
For fucking $5, why would you not buy this game? Seriously, $5. You probably spend more on lunch.
And there really aren't other games like it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some Robotrons out there, but
The game is-
most of the Robotrons out there are like, what's that one, Alien something?
Oh, this game is not anything like those games. It's not even... I can't call it a Robotron game because while it has similar controls, it's not like a Robotron game. It's like...
Yeah, Alien Breed. Yeah, this is way better than Alien Breed.
This is ultra violence, but in this sort of deconstructed way. Like, you're the bad guy, and you know you're the bad guy.
You just said you had to experience this game, and for $5, there's no reason you shouldn't.
Yeah, that's...
You got 40 hours as of this recording to get it for $5. And
you should get it.
It's probably going to be $5 for a long time. You know, even if you have to pay the regular price of $10, get it anyway.
Yeah. This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geeknights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.